Hey everyone, it's Jaclyn. So today I wanted to make a video and share with you guys how I edit my Instagram photos. I'm not really someone that has a feed or super aesthetic page or anything like that. I used to, but I don't think I give myself that much credit. But back in the day, I used to try to make an aesthetic, and if you scroll back deep enough, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, no, nowadays I just enjoy posting a good photo, and I have fun editing photos, and you guys always ask me what filters and stuff. So yeah, let's just hop on into it. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the picture, obviously. So I have some pictures pulled up here to edit and share with you guys, but I'm not really gonna go over posing and all that type of stuff. I mean, that's kind of something you gotta experiment and do on your own, and there's gonna be better videos that go in depth about that stuff. But basically, lighting makes a huge difference. So playing around with different lighting and different settings and things like that. And angles, again, are everything. I swear I can make myself look like 5 different people just with different makeup and lighting and angles and stuff like that. So definitely experiment. Actually, something that I do like to do that I find helpful, I actually favorite the photos. I'll give a little heart to it. That way it pops up in my favorites tab, and it just organizes which pictures I like. Because normally if I go to take a photo, I'll literally take 50 and then I'll only have one good one. So I like to mark it that way. I'm not, trying to figure out which one the good photo is. So mark it or put it in a separate album, something like that. So then when you go to edit, it becomes a lot easier. So then I have all my apps in a folder that I like to use to edit, whether it's photos or videos. And I actually have a ton of apps here. I don't really necessarily use, could you imagine? It's I use every single one of these apps to edit one photo. No, but I pretty much only use 4 apps interchangeably depending on the type of photo. And that is Visco, Facetune, Unum, or UNUM, I don't know, and Snapseed. So I'm gonna go into Visco, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is import the photo. So I have a variety of different photos that I'm gonna show you how I like to edit. So we're gonna do one photo of me where someone else is taking the picture, one selfie photo, and then let's do a food photo. I feel like that'll be good. Okay, so we're gonna start off with this one where someone else is taking a picture of me. So the first thing that I like to do is throw a filter on it. I've kind of organized my filters down at the bottom here, and I have these 4 filters that are my favorites that are at the beginning, so it's just easier. They don't have to, scroll through the entire collection of different filters. So I normally use either J5, M5, A6, or B3. Now lately I've been doing either A6 or M5, but again, depending on the photo and what the vibe is. So for this photo, I ended up doing M5. So I normally like to keep it around a solid 6.6 is normally what I go for, but there's some wiggle room with that. So I'm gonna throw that on there, and then I'm gonna have to fix the exposure a little bit just because it is a little dark and weird. So I'm gonna bump that up a little bit. I do normally put a little bit of contrast on just to give it a bit more dimension. Clarity I'll do a little bit too. Again, you don't wanna go too heavy-handed or else it'll look unless that's the look you're going for. If you want very stylized photos, sure, go for it. But for what I like to do, I like to keep it pretty low. Now I do normally like to desaturate my photos a little bit too, so I normally always drag it down to at least -1, sometimes a little more or less. In this case, I think that looks pretty good. And then what else? Ooh, grain has been a big thing lately. I feel like everyone on Instagram has been using grain on their photos, and I've been super into it as well. It just makes the photo a bit more interesting and less perfect and crisp. So I'm gonna just drag that up maybe around the 4 mark. So there, if you tap on the screen, you can see kind of the before and after. So it's already looking a bit better. What I'm gonna do though is crop the photo a little bit just because the framing's a little off. So Instagram obviously takes photos in either square format or the 4:5 ratio works really good too. So there we go, I'm pretty happy with that now. So what I'm gonna do is save it, and we're gonna export it. I always export in the highest quality, so I always hit actual size. So then next up, what I'm gonna do is open up the app Snapseed. Now Snapseed is really good if you wanna do very specific edits. You have a bit more variety in the tools and the capabilities of what you can do. So I'm gonna open up the latest image, and what I'm gonna do is hit the Tools tab. Then I'm gonna go to the Selective tool. So what I'm gonna do is press on the area that I wanna edit. So I'm gonna tap on my face here, and what I'm gonna do is select the range. You can kind of see this red marker comes up, and it basically, yeah, is showing you what it's gonna affect. So since my face is looking quite dark and a bit underexposed, I'm gonna just highlight my face there and then bump the brightness up just a smidge. And then yeah, there is the before and after. You can see it's really it just kind of brightens up the whole face, which is good. So I'm gonna hit yes to that, save as a copy. This app is really cool too because you can kind of save your edits, so that way if you wanna go back into the photo and change something or undo it or whatever, it kind of saves the history. So that's really cool too. Then what I'm gonna do next is go into the app Unum. Now this one is really good for planning out your feed. Now, like I said, I don't really have a strict feed or aesthetic anymore, but it is kind of nice to see what the photo is gonna look like on your grid before you post it. This app is really cool because you basically connect your Instagram account, so it pulls up your live feed, so you can see that these are all my most recent Instagram posts. Anyways, what I'm gonna do with the photo we just edited is import that. So then from there, you can just kind of see if it looks right and kind of see it from afar, and you can kind of rearrange it and be like, oh, you know what, maybe I wanna leave it there and post it in a few days or whatever. So yeah, this app is just really good to kind of plan things out and organize it. And yeah, I just find it really useful. So wanted to touch on that a little bit. Okay, so the next type of photo that I would edit would be like a selfie or maybe like a makeup shot, something like that. So I've got this photo here, which is a very bloody makeup photo, but I really want the highlight, the key focus to be on the makeup look. So for this photo, I'm actually gonna start off in Facetune. So the first thing that I normally like to do with these types of photos is go into the whiten tool, and I'm actually just gonna kind of scrub my finger across the screen and just whiten up my backdrop. I find crisp, clean backgrounds, especially when it comes to makeup photos, it just really makes sure that the focus is on the look and there's no distractions or anything like that. So you can see that if I tap it before and after, it does make quite the difference. But actually, one thing you do want to be aware of, I don't know if you can see kind of by my shoulder, I've accidentally whitened that area and it looks kind of gray. So I'm gonna go in with the eraser tool and just clean up any areas where I kind of went over. Yeah, you can see on my hair too. I whitened that a little too much. Next up, I'm gonna go into the details tool. This tool is really great to kind of sharpen and clarify and really highlight any certain areas. So I'm gonna go to where the actual makeup and the scales are. I'm gonna kind of lightly color over top of that and just kind of making that pop out a bit more. So you can see it definitely does make a difference. I'm gonna also go over to where my eye is, where this crazy contact is. And again, just use the details tool. So there's the before, and then here's the after. Before, after. So it is very subtle, but it definitely does make a difference. The last tool in Facetune that I really like to use is the tones tool. And this one's really cool, especially if, say your makeup isn't showing up on camera as intense or as pigmented as it is in real life, or if, you notice when you take the picture, you like the picture, but there's a gap in your eyelashes or your winged eyeliner doesn't look as precise as it is. What you can actually do is pick up the color in the photo. So say, for example, I'm gonna touch up my eyelashes. So I use this picker tool, it picks up this black kind of color, and then I'm gonna go back in with this little paintbrush and just kind of deepen in any areas, especially here, there was some lightness. But I don't know if you can see the before and after, just kind of fills in those little gaps where my eyelashes don't look as dark. This is basically like your little saving grace if your makeup had a little mistake in it. Also, this is actually really useful for eye color as well. So you can see here in this pupil, you can see like the ring light, and you can see that the contact doesn't fit my eye perfectly. So what I'm gonna do, oh, that was weird. What I'm gonna do is just kind of fix that. So I'm gonna take the picker tool, go into the black of my eye, and then kind of draw where you can see a bit of my blue eyes peeking through. And again, this is kind of all working in like small layers. And if you ever think you've done too much, you probably have, so go a step back. It's really easy to kind of go overboard, and then all of a sudden you're looking at this photo of you and you're like, this looks so like toddlers and tiaras, beauty pageant-esque, which again is fine if that's the look you're going for, but for the most part, I like my photos to not look super, super edited, even though there's a 5-step process here, but we're trying to fool people, okay? Okay, so there we go. The eye is looking a bit darker and a bit creepier. And yeah, I think that looks pretty good for the most part. So what I'm gonna do is save that, save to camera roll, and then we are ready to hop into Visco. So I'm just gonna import that new photo. And to be honest, when it comes to makeup photos and things like that, I don't really like to put too many filters on it just because I want the photo and the colors to look as true to life on camera as they were. So I wouldn't go in and put like M5 or any of those filters on it for the most part. But for today's sake of video, I'm gonna put on M5 just a smidge. But in this case where I have controlled lighting and there's not too many shadows or anything weird going on, I will just put it on a little bit. I won't really mess with like exposure, contrast, grain, anything like that. All I'm gonna do is just crop it to 4:5. Somewhere around there, I think looks good. Maybe a bit lower. Maybe a smidge higher. The thing is, I'm so indecisive, I could actually sit here for like a solid 20 minutes on one photo and just be like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. Call me crazy, but I just really find this stuff fun. I mean, I'm assuming you do too, that's why you're watching this video. Okay, we are rolling. So now what I'm gonna do is import that photo and show you again how you could kind of maybe arrange it. But for the most part, I don't like to put two selfies like next to each other, and I try to spread things like that out. So I would probably do something like that versus that. I feel like this kind of is balanced out a bit better. The last of a photo that I wanted to share with you guys, how I like to edit, is gonna be a photo of something else. So whether this be like a product shot or a food flat lay, or even maybe like a landscape photo, I pretty much edit those all the same. So what I'm gonna do is kind of follow the same formula, go back into Visco. I'm gonna take, I think M5 is still, yeah, I think M5 still looks the best. So I'm gonna bump this up a little higher. I find you can be a little more forgiving when it comes to these types of photos. You can go a bit heavier handed with the filters and how you edit it. Then I'm gonna brighten the photo up a smidge, add a little bit of contrast. I'm gonna crop out that kind of empty side there. Now this was a photo, I remember when I was taking this, we just got our food delivered to the table and it was kind of like an afterthought. I was like, wait, quick, before you guys take a bite, let me get a picture. So I just kind of literally stuck my hand out and took the picture. So it was like a one-shot wonder, but because of that, the perspective of the photo isn't exactly parallel to the table, which kind of bugs me. But don't worry, that's why we have all these apps, we can save them. So that's when I like to use a tool like the X-Skew tool or the Y-Skew tool, just because it can actually tilt the perspective of the photo. So I'm gonna go into Y-Skew, and you can see what you can do is kind of like switch it up like that, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do is kind of make it a bit more level. Maybe something like that. Yeah, that looks a bit better. And then there you go, crisis averted. Then I'm gonna go in and do sharpness a little bit and clarity again. Sometimes with photos like this, I like to add a bit of a tint. I like to go a bit pinkier. So if I bring it up to this side, you can see it gets more pink, whereas if I go to this side, it gets more green. I'm gonna bring it up maybe about 1.5 sounds pretty good. I'm gonna finish off by adding a bit of green. Okay, and then there we go. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm gonna save this photo, and then we are done. We are ready to hit the gram. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the apps I like to use and how I like to edit. Ooh, these tacos look so good. I wish I was eating these right now. But yeah, I hope this helped you out or maybe answer some of your questions. Let me know down below how you like to edit your photos, or maybe you don't even think about editing your photos. Maybe you just toss on the gram, no filter, and you're good to go. Wow, what a time. There was a time in my life where I would just, you know, wake up, take a really poor quality photo and post it on Instagram, no filter, didn't even think twice about it. Yeah, 2012 was a much simpler time. I should get back to doing that. You know, just posting literally whatever. That's a whole other story. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this thing up. Thanks guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And make sure you guys turn on the notifications. That way you guys don't miss out, because I have a bunch of really exciting videos coming soon. Thanks guys so much for watching. I'll see you really soon. Bye. 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 Why did I say that like that? Bye. Okay, we're done. We are done here.